G'day Simmers, welcome back to another tutorial. So this one is all about Blender and how we're going to make a scene. So as you can see here, I've got two pictures here on the screen, one of Belagoth and one of a sim that I've made, and they're in different pictures per se. So as you can see here, the full picture of Belagoth, she's in like a house, a very beautiful house. Here's another one. And so I'm going to show you today how to create one of these and how to bring in a scene. So it's not just, like a mirror or your sim just standing there, if you do know how to work out Blender. So there's a few things you do need. Okay, so we do need Blender. I use Blender 2.8. Okay, there is quite a few different versions. There's quite a few different versions of Blender. Some people use 2.7 and 2.9, I believe, because sometimes it doesn't work. But I don't have any problems with 2.8. So you need 2.8 Blender if you're following along. Sims 4 Ripper, Sims 4 Studio, and I'd suggest making two folders. Okay, one for your scenes, one for your Blender. Okay, now I'll leave links for all of these so you can download. So Blender, Sims Ripper, and Sims 4 Studio. I'll also leave a link for the scene that we'll be using today. Okay, and scenes are so easy to find. All you've got to do is search on Google, search on Tumblr, even Instagram. Searching Sims 4 Blender scenes, and you should get quite a few. Okay, so we are open in Blender. So this is Blender 2.8. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is delete this box here. Okay. So there we go. Now we've got nothing here. That's the camera there, and that's the light. So over here is our scene. So far, this is our scene. There's nothing there. Okay, so this is our scene over here. Our collection, camera, and light. Okay, now there is a lot of tutorials on Blender and everything. I'm just going to show you how to add a scene and how to use, the things you need to do to make it work. So yeah, it's definitely not a full-on step-by-step guide on how to use Blender, but this is how I use it. So yeah, I hope this helps. So yeah, we've deleted the box, so there's nothing there now. Okay, so I'm moving around like that. I'm just holding in the scroll key in my mouse, and you can also obviously zoom in or zoom out. Now to move around, up here there's just the hand, grabby hand, like that. So first thing we're going to do is go over here right in the corner. Don't click the drop down, right beside it, and your mouse will change to like the cross. Click and hold, and then drag it over. So now we've got two screens per se. Okay, now we're going to go up here, File, Import. Well, first of all, what you do need to do, say you want a certain sim, okay, and to get them into Blender, you're going to know where they are. Alright, so we're going to go to Load Game, and right here, okay, right there, just below it where it says here, so it says there, and the last two numbers you want. So 03 is that one, and this one here, 01A. This one here, 019. Okay, now I do already have them out, but I'll show you what you'll need to do. Okay, so this is Sims 4 Ripper. Okay, it's quite easy. Up here, we're going to go to Select, and this is where you'll need the numbers. Okay, so as you can see here, there's all the different numbers. So if you open up Sims again, go Load Game. What's this one here? Builds and Switch 03. or 03. So that's the number we're looking for, 03. 03, and you want the most recent one. So not the 425, we want the 624. So it's 03. Open. Now, it might take a while, might not. Now up here we've got all different selections: a human, animal, male, female. Depending on what type of sim you want, you can unclick so the selection gets a bit less. There's not as a lot to go through. So we want a human. Take off animal, take off male, take off toddler, take off child, teenager, adult, and elder. So that took off quite a lot of the sims in the list. And what you want to do is just look for the sim that you want to bring into Blender. Okay, so let's go down here. Let's get, because we do have quite a few people. And you click on one and it will say working. Okay, just leave it. Okay, sometimes it does take a while. Just leave it. It might say not responding. Leave it. I promise you it will work. Okay, it will work. Just hang in there. See, there we go. It's not responding, but it will. There we go. There we go. So Morgan's goal. That's not the Morgan I wanted. So what we can do is go sort by last name or first name. We're going to go with first name, and we're going to go down here, and I want oh, he's not in this save. That's okay. We're happy with Morgan here. So Morgan is a mermaid. Okay. So depending, obviously, because it's a mermaid, they have a tail. If you're going to bring in a mermaid, you've got to make sure you've got poses for mermaid. Okay. So you do need poses. Okay. So say we'll get a human then. So let's get a human instead. So that way it won't be too confusing for people. Okay, so we're going to working again. Okay, so once that has loaded, we can see our sim here. Okay, now there's a couple of things here that we need to make sure. Make sure it is said solid in glass, meshes, and textures. Okay, sometimes you will get the glass, sometimes you won't. It just depends if there is actually any glass in the mesh on that sim. Okay, down here we got blender bone, that's 2, keep that's fine. Standard, that's fine. That's fine, keep that's fine. Outfit, so this is where you can change the different outfits that they will be wearing in Blender. Okay, so we go with formal, and then once we're happy with all that, nothing else we need to change, click on DAE. Okay, and that's saving the file as a DAE. Now this is where we need a folder. Again, you can save it anywhere you like, but I like getting their own folders. So we're going to go here, and our folder was called, I'm going to go cancel, Blender Pictures or Scenes 2. Okay, so DAE, and we're going to go to desktop, and let's go to Blender Pictures. Julia Wright, and again you can name it whatever you like, just try and remember, if you're just saving it anywhere, what the name is. And there we go, that's saved. Easy peasy. Done with the Sims 4 Ripper. Okay, now what we want to do is open Blender. Okay, open Blender again. Okay, now we've got the both scenes like that. Now we're going to go to File, Import, Collab Default DAE. So File, Import, Collab Default DAE. So it's the very first one, DAE. And now you want to grab that file that you saved from the Sims 4 Ripper. Okay, so ours is on the desktop, and we are in Blender Pictures, Julia Wright, and double click. And there we go. There is Julia in both scenes. Okay, and as you can see, she's a bit grey. Okay, now that is because of these buttons over here, the circles. Okay, it's on the second one. Naturally, that's how it comes in. So if we click on the very last one, viewpoint shading, there we go. So it's not exactly the same as she would be in game, and that's why we've got to fix it up. Okay, and she'll look a lot better. The tones will come out better, the hair will come out better. So what we need to do is come over here to this side, and just in the corner we want editor type. Click on that and go down to shader editor. Okay, there we go, shader editor, and it's empty. So over here in our scene collection, we're going to go to rig and click on Julia Wright, the sim or your sim's name, and it'll come up with these different modules and nodes over here. So these are all different nodes and everything. Now what we want to do is grab the color and bring it up to the specular. Okay, and you'll see that she's changing already. Okay, now we want to go up here and click add shader, mix shader, and then put the mix shader between the principled BSDF and the material output. So the green and red one, put the next green one between it. Then grab this line and put it on the bottom shader. Okay, then with this alpha, bring that over to the FAC. And look, she's already looking beautiful. And then add shader again and down to transparent BSDF. And just place that one on top. Bring that one down to the middle shader. There we go. And that's done. That is done. And she has no, because if there was glass, there'll be a glass one below it. But there is no glass. So we don't have to do the glass. So the next thing we want to do is poses. Alright, so we want to click on our sim. Now poses, you should know by now. Most people know, poses are very easy to get and find. Now to get them in to Blender, this is where you'll need Sims 4 Studio. Okay. Now it's the easiest way to do it is go to My Projects and find where that pose that you want. Okay, mine automatically opens up to my poses that we've got here. So let's get the sitting pose. And now we want to go, it automatically opens up to the pose pack. We want to click on clips. Okay, that will come up with the different poses here. Alright, now we're going to go, so we're going to go with this one. And down here, so export. And we've got the 4 blends. So we're going to click on export. Okay, and we're going to save it in poses. And this one is laying down pose. It's the way I know what it's called. Okay, now it's going to be exporting animation. That shouldn't take too long. There we go, it's saved. Okay, now we can close that or minimize it. Totally up to you. Okay, now that the pose is clicked and we've saved the actual pose, so we want to click on the pose here. So it's grayed out. So they're grayed out. So in here as well, the pose picture of the man like that is like it's got a square around it. And you just want to zoom in so you get to the face. You can use this hand up here to move. And we want to get one of these square ones. Sorry for the mouth, but get one of these and click on it. Left click until it's blue. Then right click. Insert keyframe. Lock, rot, scale. Okay? That's all you need to do. Then you can zoom back out. And then over here, we want to go up to the editor type, bring that one down, and go over to animation, and then down to the last one, non-linear animation. Click on that. Now over here, click on the push down action and it'll open up a track. This is a track, the orange one. Right click it and then delete strips. Okay, so that is the pose that she's doing right now, the standing pose. Okay, so now we want to change that up. So what we want to do is go File, Append. Alright, now this is where you want to try and find where that pose is. So ours is in poses, and here's our poses. So you want to find the pose that we saved, and ours was laying down pose. So click on the pose and it'll open up these boxes. You want to go to action. Click on action and that will be the pose. Double click that. And there we go. Now we'll go add action strip, and there's our pose there. Not the rig action. We want the actual pose. And there we go. And now she's laying down. Probably not the best outfit to be laying down in. So we will change that. So to go back, press Control Z. Alright, so we're going to change that. That I didn't even realize. I completely forgot that she was actually in that outfit. So I've got a few of these different poses. So I'm just quickly put a new one in. Add action strip, just like I did before. And there we go. She's got a new pose. Okay? And that's it. That's how you did the pose. So that's how you do the pose. And if you wanted to, you can just add the... If that's all you wanted, you can... you're finished now. You can add the plane and take pictures. And then upload them. But we are going to add a scene. Okay? So a background picture. It's more than just a picture though. Alrighty, so we have our. So I'm using Jones Creations. Okay, I'll be leaving a link. Okay, the scene that we will be using is free to use. Okay, free to use. All right, now we want to click on pose again, so it's unhighlighted, and then click over here, and there we go. Okay, so nothing is there. Actually, no, I lied. We need to go back there. So click on Julia again. Alrighty, over here, we need to go back to shader editor. Okay, now we need to go to this one. So we need to go down to the second last one. So it's the world one, context, material. Okay, now down in settings, there's blend mode and shadow mode. We need to change them. So they're on opaque at the moment. We need to change it to alpha hashed. Both of them are alpha hashed. There we go. Done. Now she looks better. Much better. Okay, so now what we want to do is bring in some sort of scene. Okay. There we go. Unclicked all of them. Now, to bring in a scene, we go to File, Link. Okay. Now, once you find where your scene is and you've downloaded it, again, the links are down below, guys, in the About section of this video. So mine's on desktop, and it's scenes 2, and we are going to be using Autumn Street. And now we want to go to collection, and it's going to come up with all of these. Okay, now we want to highlight all of them. So I'm just holding in the left mouse and drag it up to highlight all of them, and then click enter. There we go. It might take a little bit to load in, depending on what you've got, but this is what it looks like. So that is how we've uploaded a scene. And look at her, she looks beautiful. Okay, and as you can see here, it's only that. So what we're going to do now is add a mirror at the very end. Okay, so the way we can take a picture of her in there without seeing the blend scene behind her. Alright, so what we're going to do here. Alright, so now that's in, we want to make a mirror. So we can put it at one of the ends so it doesn't look like, you know, it's empty. It's going to look like a mirror. Because this is what the scene comes with. Okay, so it doesn't come with a front or a back. So you can maybe add like another one if you wanted to behind it. But again, when you're rendering the picture, it will take up a lot more. Depending on how much you've got, it will take up more processing time. So we want to go add mesh plane. Okay. Now that is below our sim. Okay. Now we want to just use the green arrow, drag it all the way, or bring it this way actually. Bring it all the way back here. Like that. And now we want to rotate it. So over here, there's all these buttons. We want to click on the rotate button. Okay, and then just rotate it. Like so. It might not be perfect, but that's okay. We can fix it later. Now we just want to make it a bit bigger so it fits the hole. Like that. There we go. And now we can move it up a little bit and then bring that down and then up a bit more so none of it hangs under the lines. Okay, there we go. I think it might be around the wrong way, so we will go like that. No, it's not. It's just the shadow. Alright, cool. We'll find out in a minute if it is, because our next thing we need to do is go add again, and we want to go down to light probe. Okay, and then we want to click on reflection plane, and there it is. Then we want to click on move and bring it down here. So it just loaded on top of our sim, below our sim again. Now with the reflection plane, we want to pretty much put our first plane, the white one, in the middle of the reflection plane. Okay, so this white square one in the middle of the reflection plane. So we want to rotate the reflection plane like so, and then we can move it up a little bit like that. Went to the wrong way. Move up, and now we want to make it bigger so it covers the whole square. There we go. We can bring it down a bit, and then we can make it a bit more bigger. There we go. And now stretch it out like that. There we go. Okay, so if we, over here, we click on our first plane, and then we're over on context material, click new. Alright, this is where we can change the color. Alright, we go over here, let's go to orange or yellow. We'll go to that one and change it to, so the surface we're changing now, and go to glossy. Alright, and that will make the color go back to white. Alright, now go back down to color, and then choose your color that you want, and there we go. Now, oh, itchy ear, grab the reflection plane and move it in the middle of that first plane. Okay. And it might take you a couple times to get it, but you will get it. Let's spin it around, might be the wrong way. Alright, so once you have the plane and the reflection plane, so the normal plane is in the middle of the reflection plane, what we want to do is bring down the roughness to 0. Okay, make sure that's on 0. The surface is glossy. Okay, and pick a color. And now so it's around the wrong way. It should now start to wrong one. We want to need the plane. That one. Turn it around. There we go. Now we've got a mirror. And there we go. And like I said, you can change the scene if this isn't the type of scene that you would like. There's lots of scenes on Google, Tumblr, you name it. There's lots of them. So what we want to do, make sure our rig is clicked again. And we want to just move it over just slightly. Just slightly over here. Now we want to go and find our camera. There is one right here, but that's not our original camera. Our original camera, if we come up here and we click on toggle camera view, it's near the trees up here. So it's over here. That's where our camera is. So if we try and move it, and now it's facing the chairs. Yeah, so that is our camera that we're using to take photos, because there is cameras usually that come with the scenes, but we don't want them. You can delete them if you want off here, so there's not as many. I just leave it. Now we want to move around the camera to the position that we want. So we're just going in and out of the camera mode. So like that. And then I want to rotate it that way. So it's a long way picture. So I'm just rotating it with the colored lines there. And if you want to zoom in, like that. Okay, so see how it's white? The rectangle at the end. Now I can move it. But if it's yellow, it will actually move the whole camera. Okay. Okay, so we want to bring it down a little bit. Okay, so go to the move button and go down. Like so. And then go to the camera mode. Perfect. So now we can see her feet and everything there. Okay. Now we will want to go back out. Now because if we go back in there, it is a bit dark. Okay, so we want to add a light. So add and go down to light. Okay, there's all different type of ones you can choose. I'm going to click sun because it adds light straight away to the whole room. And then look at that. And I think that adds just enough because all the different oranges still stand out too. We do have a grey sky, but that's fine. You can say it's autumn, so it's a grey sky. You could, obviously move the camera if you wanted to. So you can grab the camera. Let's move it this way. Move it up a bit. And we can angle it like so. Move it over that way. And there we go. So you don't have as much of the grey in the picture. So we can bring it up a little bit. And there you go. And it's not as bad. The grey, there's not as much grey per se, I should say. And I think that's a really good picture. So if you're happy with that, what you want to do is go over here and click the context. So the context render. Okay, now I always render mine in cycles. It's totally up to you. Okay, so the difference is that cycles has a better image per se. You'll end up getting a better picture, but it will take a bit longer for it to cycle through. Okay, so just take that into account. Eevee, this is Eevee. this is what we're in Eevee. Okay, so this is how it will turn out. Cycles though is what most people will use, and I'll show you now. So it's path tracing. Okay, you can change that with CPU or GPU, so you can use your own GPU. So again, if we go back to Eevee, that's the difference. Okay, so we're going to go to cycles, and we'll be back in a minute. Okay, so now that they have rendered, guys, we have our scene. We have our rendered pictures here. Okay, now I have done two, so that way we can all see the difference between cycles and Eevee. Okay, so this one here that we've got now is Eevee. As you can see, it's a nice picture, nice little scene back there, but the detail, it's a little questionable. You know, look at the feeding down the bottom there. It doesn't sort of look like she's standing there, and just the colors. Again, you can do it in Eevee. Will still, like, this is what it will look like if you've done Eevee. Okay, so it will still look okay. You'll just get a better image if you use cycles. Okay, so that is Eevee, and that is cycles. Okay, as you can see, there is a lot more shading, a lot more texture in this picture compared to the Eevee one. So we'll minimize that one just so we can see the difference here. So as you can see there. Okay, so we can see the difference. Okay, so the top is cycles and the bottom one is Eevee. Okay, so that is how that is the difference between the two. Okay, you will get more details on cycles. So even look at her face compared to this one. It's much different. Okay, but yeah, that is how you make a scene in your Blender, and also how you bring your Sims into Blender. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and if you want to see more, let me know in the comments what type of tutorial you'd like to see next. And make sure, guys, you are hitting that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.